more important that this scene looks decent to okay. I don't really care if my face is blurry, but if this, that's more than enough. That's perfect. Okay, this is fine. I will figure out just like optimal streaming settings another time. Actually, I need to check audio, make sure that I can be heard. Yep, I'm heard. All right. So, I don't really know how to describe this. I'm technically making a game here, but it's more of a simulation. This project, the first project for the Slop series, we're gonna be making a musical marbles simulation, which I think there are like 1,000,010 like references to figuring out what this should potentially look at. But I think the biggest inspiration will be from the man, the myth, the legend, Marvin Blend. If I can get something as half as good as this,
Glockenspiel.
not even a half as good. I need like if I can mimic just like a fraction of this, then I will be satisfied with this particular project. But the goal for it is, in case you didn't know, this is completely 100% a simulation. Not a simulation. This is an animation. He physically made all these movements and all these sounds, and I want to automate this as well as I can. And I think I can get something very similar and very basic with just simply reading a MIDI file. So I think the first step to actively creating this project, I could start by breaking it down by like its entirety, but I think this project is dead in the water immediately if I cannot accomplish. Actually, here's my, let's mute both music. But like it's completely dead in the water if I can't accomplish getting like reading the music, because in order to create the simulation, I want to read a MIDI file, take the musical notes, take what the note is and the extent of it, and then I want to translate that into a track in which the ball, which is pretending to move physically, will extend its movement and land on each individual note on the tempo and time of the beat. And this entire project will break down if I cannot read a MIDI file in Unity, which I believe that I can. Like in my little bit of research, I've seen a bunch of MIDI readers, but it seems like I don't want to like just rip a MIDI reader off the internet. I want to break down what goes into reading a MIDI file. And so that's going to be like the biggest hurdle, I think, in accomplishing this project is my ability to be able to like understand how MIDI works in general. That should be fun. Like at the very least, well, not fun viewing experience, but fun for me because I like learning this kind of stuff. So in that vein, back to my project and back to turning on music. In the vein of that idea, yeah, I think it's gonna start with just researching. Actually, let's see. Go back to this. Let's see what even goes into how do you play MIDI files in Unity. In that project, just take a look at the actual Unity asset. Yeah, I don't want to like. Well, actually, let's see. What do they do? Audio filter. And a little bit of extra slight added context. When I was originally trying to think of like what 3 projects I wanted to make for this particular idea, the first immediate thought was the first immediate thought that came to my mind was to do an audio visualizer, because I actually have made an audio visualizer in the past, so I have like some knowledge of how audio data is read in the particulars of how this will like how Unity handles audio. So I'm not completely lost on it, but MIDI is like a whole separate. MIDI program in C#. GioWet MIDI is the .NET library to work with MIDI and MIDI devices. It allows us to read, write, and create standard MIDI files. It also literary files. Good setting. Maybe I will just try downloading an API. I'm stuck between just downloading an API and using it, and just straight up GioWet MIDI is such a name. I wonder if Alright, MIDI and Unity. Yep, of course they have assets. And it's free. Alright, let's just let's take this and that's here. Yeah, we are going to add the gyro MIDI. It's been actually maintained. They haven't an update in May. All right. And just like that, we have brand new MIDI reading plugin. Demo scene has just the demo script in it, which does device, the playback device initializes the output device, and then it creates a test file, which is just doing. It's creating a MIDI file. Oh, that's interesting. So it breaks it down into whole, half, quarter, eighth, 16th, 32nd. What the fuck is a 64th? I don't think I've ever heard of these notes, but I'm assuming they exist. Bird shot and number value pattern building note. Actually, let's pause the music for a second. Because I am curious. Then it starts to play back. Okay, I'm curious. Just a tad curious about what happens if I just hit play raw. But in theory, this should just create. God, I need to add in the Unity audio. Cue the scene real quick. Okay, and then if I hit play, Jesus Christ, how long is it gonna go for? Hmm. I wonder what's making the noise. Well, obviously it's MIDI, but like, where is this coming from? Oh, and start playback. It just playback start. Okay, sure. Playback is a playback variable which I'm assuming is just a class that holds the, yeah. Program pitch value, control value. Yeah, and this is just holds data. All this demo script does is initialize out and then it creates a file. There has to be like a. Actually, I just had that up. There is a. There we go. This should be doing it. Actually, let me try. Yeah, let's let you convert type. Share collections on later note to lin queue. Okay. Wait, I didn't want it to be an unordered one. I wanted it to just be a normal IE normal. Collection, which I'm just gonna assume is a linked list of some kind. I collection count is, yeah, it's just a list. Okay. Let's just do that, and then attach it to Unity, and then we pray this doesn't crash. I just want to see what happens, like what gets in here. So what is this? This mini it's called just. Oh God! All right, let's just ignore it for now, and then let's inside of notes. So yeah, like I thought, this is just doing the chromatic scale for 128 notes, which I think is the entire piano. I could be wrong. No, a piano's 88 keys. No, it's 8. Oh, it's 88 notes. Where the fuck are they getting 128 from? Maybe it's pitch? Oh, it's tones. The number of tones, 128. That's interesting. No. Well, actually, I don't think it really matters. No, thinking about it, this is literally all I need, which is this information, which will get the velocity. The fuck do I do? Anyways, octave is nothing. Note number is 0. Wait, hold on. Something's not right here. This is giving me a list, and it has I'm assuming the octave and then the number. Not I can't really consider this an octave. Maybe I can consider this an octave. How many octaves? Let's actually, how much does this even go up to? Nine. Okay, that's all that matters. Maybe I should. Let's find a song. Let's find a song real quick and MIDI. What is a very simple song? Sure, whatever. That's fine. Perfect. Let's can I download this? Here, download MIDI. Let's just download it straight into my project. And let's see what it sounds like via the system. Because I'm curious if it is, I'm curious what tone it is like taking this from. That makes sense. Like okay. I understand that in this function is creating a MIDI file. How? No fucking clue. Using the system pattern builder, which initializes a new instance of composing pattern builder. Okay, yeah, sure, thanks. It's composing pattern builder with specific patterns. So this just creates a pattern, a series of patterns, I'm assuming. And you can set the note length. It's an eighth chromatic scale pattern. Velocity of whatever max value, which is 127. Okay. Program change. Harp. General MIDI program. Harpsichord. Program change. Is this the instrument it's doing? Holy shit. Yeah. Holy crap. There's acoustic grand piano. As right acoustic piano, electric grand piano, honky tonk piano. Harp is scored. Clavicle. Maybe this just will this just sound no. It's like fucking like my problem. So like one of the things that I don't want to do is I don't want it to like explicitly play MIDI because MIDI doesn't sound all that good. It's not the greatest, if I'm being honest. So I would like to replace it with my own tones, but saying MIDI doesn't sound good, I feel like I'm just gonna make something that sounds worse. I don't know. Maybe there might be a way to make it sound good, but then I wouldn't be. I would just be playing music at that point, which might be better in the long run. I don't know. I haven't decided. Like the easiest thing to do would just be play the MIDI and then match the simulation to whatever it is that is happening in the MIDI file itself, which would be the easiest thing to do. The more fun thing to do would be to play my own tones as each thing bounces from thing to thing, because MIDI doesn't always sound the greatest. But I don't know. I'm gonna weigh both options while I'm attempting to figure out what I want to do. Because I know the end goal. So the end goal is the only thing that matters. It has to be satisfying to look at, right? And I think it would be really cool to allow somebody to be like, "Hey, I want to do this song," and then it finds the MIDI of that song, downloads the MIDI, and then just inserts it into the project, and it sounds good. But I also think it would be hilarious if it did that and it sounded terrible. But I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. But yeah, with the MIDI dry wet plugin, this makes it a lot more trivial, which is fine. I don't need to reinvent the wheel if I don't have to. And I won't. So we will do that. What was I doing? All right, I was downloading the MIDI file. Where did I put that thing? I completely zoned out while downloading MIDI. Did I already put it inside the folder? Because while I was not paying attention. I don't think I did. I think I just canceled the download. Let's re-download this. And then let's go into my dev file, Marvel's music. And let's just put it straight into the audio section of. All right. I know how to read the file, but I don't know how to read the file. So if I come back up to here, back into my demo script, I hit continue, and then I exit out, and then I stop that horrible sound, and then I this instead of this. Okay, so what is this taking? This is taking a file path by its full path. And since a MIDI file representing a MIDI file extends a shit ton, don't matter. Doesn't matter. Okay, let's check to see if my file has loaded. Oh, not loaded, but it exists. Yep, here we go. All right. Let's. What? There has to be like. Here we go. And then let's go back to our demo scripts. Brown. And then let's replace that with this. And then in theory, if that worked as intended, when I hit play, the Angel Beats song should be playing. Holy shit. It worked. Hmm. Okay. That's not a good song though. I want something with like I don't know, not piano. MIDI. Wait, I literally searched the same thing twice. What is wrong with me? I don't want it to be piano. I wonder if there's like a good MIDI finding site. God, that's loud. Best MIDI site. Free. What's a fun song? I need a video game song. Let me think about this. the fuck is this? Okay, let me relax. I thought. Is all no, that's a stupid question. I'm not gonna say that out loud. Hmm. Uh, um, let's just do that instead. Let's just see what shows up here. Fuck, it's just raw downloading. It's not even gonna let me preview what the song is. Let's just come here. Holy shit, site next secure. It's gonna download virus on my computer. Let's just not do that. Yeah, this looks like a very safe. All right, whatever. You can't. Thought a little bit of risk, you know, downloading potentially a virus, inducing things on your computer. You're really deving, you know. Do that. All right, let's do that. Let's save that. Let's see what this sounds like. Christ, that's loud. That's interesting. So it's very interesting. There's a fucking faux lute playing. Hmm. Okay, first things first. Let's just burn down your ad. Hmm. Still loud as fuck. Holy shit. So the problem with this is like the music needs to be simple in order for the simulation to work. It needs to be like it needs to be very, very simple. Very, very simple things. Like because if it gets overly complex, the simulation doesn't like translate one to one, you know? And that's not good.
Eight-bit pluck organ.
I can't tell if my audio is off or the video is off.
Eight-bit pluck organ.
Yeah, I think that's the thing I don't want to happen though. I don't want to have to be able to make the music of the thing, but it's slowly becoming apparent. I don't know. Maybe my MIDI file search is just like not good enough. Like MIDI simple. I just want like very simple shit.
So today's the day. I've got my RTA mock system and Coyote appliances.
Whoa. I think I just need to like stick to the easy, the easy category. Then I also have to like. I wonder if there's a way to like differentiate. Well, actually, there has to be a way to differentiate like the melody from the bass. Be able to run like two of these concurrently at the same time, because like I don't think all these people are just like making this MIDI like thing. Remember what Game Freak was in it for the money? That's crazy considering what they just released today. Oh fuck! My favorite, a Dropbox list, Dropbox link. Let's go. Oh. Okay. Back to Unity. Let's copy the path. I think this would be a slightly better starting point than the other two songs, which are very, very, very complicated. And then I think I just have to like make a list. I think the best course of action is to make a list going forward. I wonder if there's a way for me to change the notes. Look, what is even in a MIDI file? One, get chords, get duration, get objects, get notes, get type, blah blah. Process notes, remove objects, shift events, equalizer, clone, description, merge, convertible size, split by chunk, split by grid. Man, I can't really skip a lot of this shit. Holy crap. Alright, well, let's see. What is even in? Let's go and try and make some sense of this class. And while I do that, I can bring the music back. Okay. Summary represents the MIDI file for marks. An instance of MIDI file can be obtained via one read. I already know that. Or read static methods, or via the constructor, which allows to create a MIDI file from scratch. Okay, I did not know that. Well, actually, I did know that from the demo, but I didn't know that until I read that. Content of MIDI file available via chunks. Property which contains instance of the following chunk classes derived from a MIDI chunk. Track chunk, unknown chunk, any other type specified by custom chunks properties of Melancholy. Used to read the file. Save a MIDI file to data on disk or to stream. Use appropriate write method to save MIDI data to file or disk or to stream. Use property. Okay. The other day I saw a simulation where the music didn't sync with the animation, so I just think it's just a Blender render with music video editor. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Most, if not all of these are renders with music video. And so the hope is I can make this simulated via whatever song. And if I can, it'd be cool. I don't think it'll look nearly as good as the pre-renders, but if I can get something that's even slightly close to it, I think the automation of it will just make it that much more enjoyable. Which is why we are now digging very deep into MIDI. I'm still on the fence about using MIDI as like the streaming of it. Like, again, it just doesn't sound as like as audibly pleasing as probably somebody using proper non-MIDI simulating sounding tones. But I have done a little bit of research and seen that you can replace the tones with something else. So I'm gonna explore that as well as just seeing if I can just interpret the information in my own system. But we shall see after I figure out what the hell it even is and all this MIDI file stuff. Which seems like for now I just want to see if I can adjust or update the sound in a MIDI file explicitly in real time, and so when it hits play it doesn't look at it but it looks like what I tell it to, which I think is very possible because here, actually maybe it's in here, maybe it's in the initial. Nope, all it's doing is logging notes. Oh, that is interesting. So what I do know is this program change in the pattern builder is what's used to use the style of the MIDI program, but I'm not entirely sure about that general MIDI program actually. This is returning an action, which is a pattern action. I wonder if I can... Actually, no, this is in pattern builder specifically. That action adds this to a list of actions, which... This doesn't exist. That's my favorite type of variable, the variable that doesn't exist. Here. Can I peek the definition? Okay, it's a private read-only pattern of actions. That just doesn't exist. Okay. Sure. This variable does not exist. I can get behind that. Okay, well, I was hoping that I'd be able to use something in this. Okay, what does the pattern builder actually do? Pattern builder takes all of these things and creates a thing called the pattern builder. And then in note, it adds a note using a specific velocity and length for each. Everything in the 7-bit number dot values, which it's just a thing. It's just a struct. Struct that I have no idea where I'm even creating. There's a public struct that exists. I think it's a 7-bit numbers rather should be proposed instead of manipulating built-in.net. Oh, that use okay. Using the value. Oh, okay. I found the plot. All right. The struct just holds a bunch of static values. So this, and these values are derived from value, which is the range variable, in min value to max value minus min value. Okay, so this just populates every single value that is possible within a 7-bit number. And then in this function, which is building the thing, this pretty much, okay. But this is what's creating the chromatic scale. Looking into every single tonal value, which is 128, takes it, and then we're setting it inside of here as a note, which is just defaulting everything else except for the actual note itself. So just the pattern builder is being added, every single node is being added into this particular pattern builder, and then pattern builder calls build to file, and it creates the file, and it creates the MIDI file. And if the MIDI file exists, well, actually it's just returning it, actually assumes it will exist. It returns the MIDI file. Okay, so the pattern builder.build is what really matters. It returns a new pattern, which is just a number of actions. A list of actions? It just returns the list of actions. Represents a musical pattern represented as a sequence of actions to create a musical composition. Pattern allows to... Okay. Oh shit, that's not what I wanted to do. Actually, I wonder... Does the node keep track of... Like what? Let's see, note number, velocity, off velocity, channel time length. Doesn't seem like the note keeps track of like... What's the difference between a chord and a note? I know musically, a chord is a collection of notes pressed at the same time, and a note is single. As a single instrument pressed, a single note pressed at the same time. Like, wouldn't most things show up as? I guess most things wouldn't show up as chords, depending on the song. Depending on the song, most of them could show up as chords. What? Like what? What? Why would they? But if I have to read chords and notes separately, that might make life so much harder. Well, actually, it won't make life that much harder if I just stick to songs that only have notes and no chords. Would be awesome. Which leaning towards, but like, let's see. Let's see. How does MIDI define? There has to be like a MIDI documentation. I see. Actually, I should probably start with just. Let's just. I had to go about doing something like this, I'd probably make a note block like in Minecraft, making a full piano. Every time anything collides with it, it would hit 3 boxes of a chord. That is... Yeah, that's probably that's definitely the way I would go about doing it as well. If I go about it doing like the separate note, I would have to in order to get certain chords, if certain chords existed in a particular song. But the issue I have with that, like that particular idea, is I want the simulation to represent the note that is being hit, and you kind of can't do that with 3 unless you like eat and lie, like as you're suggesting, which I might just end up doing anyways eventually if this becomes too much of a pain in the ass. But yeah, it's definitely a solution I am considering. Especially because what the overall goal is, I want a representation of at least, like, much like the example video is, the example video is a representation of a larger range of percussive instruments. Not necessarily all of these, but the ones I want in particular are like the bells, the glockenspiel and the bells, and definitely, probably not the tubes. The tubes are too much. But like, and the xylophone, which would be the simplest ones I see going about accomplishing it. I'm gonna jump scare. But before I do that, I need to figure out what this plugin is doing. In more, here we go, custom data structures. I need to figure out the high level of this music theory over octave. Here we go. Purposes of musical chord as a collection of note names. Some example usage: chord intervals. Chord note A. Chord C E G. Oh man, I knew it was gonna do this. Following strings can be parsed as a chord. So yeah, like in this particular case, it would read a chord and then it would play that chord, which would be a collection of the 3 notes. Hopefully, if I have, and which, if I'm doing it, if I do it right, I'll have. I'm hoping to keep it like in a range of 3 octaves. So I have a bass, I have a treble, and I have everything in between. And so it should work in the way that you've described, and hopefully that's good enough. But now I have the problem of if I'm parsing the data and I only have, actually there has to be a way to like get what is currently being pressed at a given point. So there's no way that it doesn't, but my simple solution of just getting the notes now has completely been thrown out of the window, because now I have to worry about getting notes and I also have to worry about getting chords depending on the MIDI file, which I'm hoping these custom data structures cover that. Which in the number of bytes and chunk structure allows future custom chunk types. For example, we want to design a chunk that will contain information about changes in whatever change is described by. I don't care about that. History chunk. Maybe I have to create a custom chunk. So the middle C is C4. Okay, that works. Yeah. So I want to stick within the range of from C3 to C5. Effectively, with C4 being the middle. Which, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what it works with. I have a very good colleague of mine who's willing to give me some example notes to mess around with eventually. So I will be implementing those in some manner or fashion. Provide scales, class with the musical scales. That's very interesting. C major scale, major scale. Major scale next to C2. Hit next note. S. But I don't need to parse a scale. I need to. Progression represents a set of chords which represents a musical chord progression. Some examples: usage, chord progression dot parse. Scale parsing nature. If they have this functionality to be able to get the information from a scale, surely there has to be some method to parse the MIDI file data. Let's see, let's start playback even doing. Just calls playback, that's good. Okay. Maybe I need to be in the playback. Actually, wait, hold on. What the fuck is playback? Wait. I need to initialize the file playback. Playback, hit playback. Retrieves an instance of the playback for the MIDI events contained in specific MIDI files. Oh, what is in the playback class? Alright, the synaptic class underneath this. And it doesn't exist. Okay, maybe it's because I'm decompiled class. Which I don't know why it would send me here in the first place, but that's fine. Wish I could figure out where on notes playback start gets called. It will be raised if playback's cursor gets in view notes. Gets out from notes. Okay. All these events will be very important probably down the line, but they don't really help me in determining how I can even get the data from a MIDI file. Actually, let's test something real fast. let's duplicate this and instead make this a chord, and then let's get from this instead and see how it differentiates itself. If it does at all, even. Chords. Let's see if chords exists. Oh dear. I use FL Studio to separate the song into 4-part instruments, drum, bass, and vocals. Then I use the instrument track and exporter. Then I use Pitch Perfect from Python to turn it into a MIDI track. It's an interesting process. I was just gonna rip songs off the internet, but your system sounds way more interesting. Python is actually one of the things that I'm like planning on using more going forward. It's being used in so many different things. Just in my line of work, I don't really get a lot of exposure to it, unfortunately. I'm stuck in mostly C# and C++, since you know, that's what most of the engines use. And so I might actually look into Pitch Perfect when I get further into this project to see, just to test out your system a little bit, just to see if I can get more interesting songs, because like that is the other like big thing that I need to figure out is I want to stick to mostly simple songs, so like the simulation is obvious like when it hits the thing, and I will obviously know, and you'll obviously know when you see it, that oh, that thing is making that noise, even if it down the line I decide it isn't, or it is. And so being able to separate the tracks into like it's just core melody would be huge. You know, just if I could just separate it into vocals and just take the vocal track and then it converts into MIDI, and then just use some pleasant percussive instrument as the bass line for it. So it's really obvious that you're listening to that particular song. That would be sick to do, especially if I can figure out a way to automate it as well. So like you can type in, I want to do this song, and then it'll find that song, download that song, convert it, get the isolate the melody, and then be able to use it. Would be really cool stretch goal too. So I can, you know, stretch my wings a little bit more into Python, so I can justify its position on my resume that I totally, absolutely 100% put after perusing a single tutorial online. Thanks for the suggestion. Well, it wasn't really a suggestion, this is what you're doing, but I'm taking it as a suggestion. Okay. Let's close that and turn that off. I don't listen to Pokemon. can separate any song with the FL Studio. I'll have to check it out then. You're selling it really well to me. Hopefully it's free. Hopefully you're not actually selling it, or there's a free trial. I will definitely check that out, and potentially other ways. Like I didn't even consider the idea that I could do that with a song until you literally just suggested it. So like, even if I don't end up using FL Studio, I'll probably try and figure out some way to separate the track so I can get the melodic part. That's a really intuitive way to get the idea of what I want out of this as end goal. Well, now okay, back to the. I need to figure out a way to get the MIDI data. MIDI data that I want. And so MIDI data that I specifically want to use. Let's just figure out if I can understand MIDI files a little bit better. Because that is my biggest blank point at this current point in time. Even with this amazing DryRed MIDI plugin that I've. Aha, I found the documentation. Okay. Holy shit, this is a lot nicer than other documentations that I've seen. Okay, if you want to speed up playing that MIDI file, I don't, or actually, maybe I do. Not now. Read a MIDI file, you have to use the refile. Yeah, I know that. I need to. The duration of the MIDI file. Actually, that's important. Time span. Tempo map equals tempo map. MIDI file dot get tempo map. Time span. MIDI file. Let's look at that for a second. Just real fast. Called tempo map, which represents the tempo map of MIDI file for more information. This is actually probably the most, well, the second most important find. The tempo map, which uses for time signature and a tempo of 500,000 microseconds per quarter note. Yeah, because thinking about it, if I have the tempo map, and I have the note information, the notation and the chord information, which hopefully is, well, I don't need to hope, I know, the actual note itself and the length of each note, and I know the tempo, I can make any song that I want. By keeping a consistent tempo. If I'm able to do that, and I am able to get all that information, then I should be able to use that information to not only place the phone notes, but also control the distance and speed that my marble needs to travel, and the impact timing of every single note, which should line up with if everything is consistent, the tempo map. So this might be the most important thing that I've discovered. Let's see. So with the tempo map, I can just create map. Bad. Key map is also bad. And then I take the mini file and I can get the tempo map from the mini file. And let's see, there's something called time span. Read only struct. My favorite. Alright, there's absolutely zero information on what time span is. Okay, we're just gonna make some stuff up. Ticks per day, ticks per hour, ticks per milliseconds. It's just holding a bunch of consts. Actually, let's see, how's this being used? This is being constructed with the MIDI file. Time span, MIDI file declaration. MIDI file dot get timed events. Oh shit. Dot last or default. Holy shit, what's happening here? Alright, last or default. What is going on? This is getting crazier. Holy shit. And then I need to check to see if it even exists. Time as a metric time span. Of tempo map? What? And even then, I don't even know if it exists. MIDI file there. Okay, hold on. Let's. Event is note. Hold on, let's just make this a little bit easier to read. Okay, so what the fuck is going on here? I'm creating this thing called MIDI file duration, which is a time span, and I'm getting the time event last default, which takes in a function event of type note off event. Okay, I think I understand what is happening. So I'm getting where the note off event is being called. There has to be a better way to do this. Hold on, there is a better way. There is a simpler way. But like, why even have both of these ways to do it? MIDI file duration? MIDI file duration. For 2. Just get duration of a metric time span of the MIDI file. What's the point of like both of these versions? One just looks more impressive. I swear. I wanted to send my script, but not enough characters. Oh, not enough characters in the YouTube chat. Not entirely sure how to fix that. What was your script of specifically? Your Python script from turning a MIDI track, turning the, I'm assuming, the instrumentation into the MIDI track you're trying to send, right? Did you make it yourself, or did you just found something? Like, I'm pretty sure like one of the strong things about Python is just like there's a fucking library for everything. Which is really cool. Makes things a whole lot easier. I was importing a MIDI into Unity. Oh, interesting, interesting. Yeah, MIDI is like, there's a lot. Like, not isn't like it's complicated, but it's any file system, like, right? Just a lot of data in a lot of buckets, in a lot of created buckets, and a lot of more buckets. I was like, I really want to like, I really wanted to make my own, but like at the same time I also want to get this project done and before the end of the year. And you know, the balance of that. But it's definitely something really interesting that I would love to dive more into. But I'm in like the I'm trying to get projects done phase, while also learning as much as possible, but not at the cost of sitting looking at something else forever. That seems to give me what I need. Still not entirely sure what I'm supposed to be using with this time span though. Let me see. Suppose you want to remove all C# notes from a MIDI file. I can be done with this. I don't need that. Are you going to tell me how to get the duration of a MIDI file as a standard time span? And then nothing else. To get all chords of a MIDI file at 20 seconds from the start of the file, write this. Oh. Yeah, sorry, I was fixing something. It seems to be broken still, but I'll figure it out another time. When I have the time. Okay. So now that okay, so I have an idea now. I have an idea. So it's more about breaking. Let's break down the idea actually. Let's change the goals. So I think the first thing that I need to do is I just need to be able to want to read out beats and notes in a given MIDI file. It doesn't. I don't like. I just want to press play on a MIDI file and then I'm just gonna print the note, and I want to try to print the note at the time it's supposed to be printed and plus the length of the note. And if I can do that, I know I have the right information that I need to then move on to propagation phase, which will be I want to take that information and I don't know if I want to go I don't want to go down the marble route first or the note route first, because they're both going to be linked hand in hand together. The note is going to be in a specific spot, and the marble, all the notes are going to be placed at the start of the song, and then the marble will need to be able to calculate the location of each. And so I think a very basic note propagation based on that information. It doesn't and I'm not going to do anything complicated or fancy. I think I'm going to place it all in a straight line at like differing positions from each other depending on the length at a consistent location. So like a whole note will be like 4 apart, like a half note will be 2 apart, and so on and so on and so on and so on. Actually, I might double that, because for 8 notes and 16 notes being a fraction apart might be not so great. So maybe actually I'll make whole notes 16, whatever, a factor of 16 apart, and then half note will be 8, and then an 8th note will be 4, and then a 16th note will be 1 apart from each other. It's just gonna be a very, very simple straight line. So like a basic note propagation in a straight line, and then I guess I'll also, with linking the correct notes, which won't actually play a sound at this stage in the game. I'm just gonna like it's just going to be a game object that'll hold a struct of data, and one of the pieces of data will be the note and the length, I guess, as well. And then from there, then I guess I'll start working on the marble. I'll create a proxy marble, and I will just create a proxy marble, and I guess I would like it to that hits notes on beat. I don't care how it's going to look, it just needs to go. It'll just go from note to note to note. Right, I think at the start I'll just have it just translate over time, and it'll just be there, and then we'll add some fancy shit when making a curve after the fact. But like for now, the first thing I just wanted to do, and then once connected, I just want the note and marble will play a sound on each hit. Oh. And that will be And that will be the overall. That is the overall game plan for now. A link to my folder with the music piece on the trip. I don't see a link, but I'm also not sure if you can even send links in chat. So let me rephrase that. I don't know if there's a setting that prevents sending links in chat, and if there is, I didn't set it, so I don't even know if it exists. A link to my folder with the music piece on the trip. You could like make it to your YouTube link, and then I'd be able to find it from there. That'd be cool. I think if the attempting to send a link in the chat isn't working, and then I can just pick it up from there. Take a look at it. At its magic of reading the fastest MIDI files in the world. Okay. Now that I have some form of game plan, how am I going to engineer this? Well, the good news is, because I am using the TryWet plugin, a lot of the heavy lifting and reading is already done in this. The fuck? In this interesting README editor. It's just an editor. Okay, let's close this for now. Let's not save anything that I've done because it's an absolute tragedy. And let's just go back in here. Yeah. Let's head back in here and then let's see. Oh, that's not what I wanted. All right, let's see. Is it at what? .NET libraries, MIDI data, it allows read, write, and create standard MIDI files. It also possibly read RMID files where SMF wrapped to RF riff chunks. You can easily get specific error while reading MIDI files, send MIDI events to receive devices, blah blah. Run the adjust process, blah 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 stuff. Okay. Like quant, like note splitting or converting MIDI file to CSV representation. Hold on, what? The tools page of the library docs? Alright, let's go take a look at that, actually, because that might literally give me the thing that I want. I don't want the really useful links. The documentation. I thought I was already in the documentation. Yeah, what the fuck? Okay, MIDI file reading. Reading corrupting files. Okay, this literally told me nothing. MIDI file read. Lazy/reading read. When you call a MIDI file that read method, the entire structure of a MIDI file, you put memory as an object, MIDI file type. It means that means that more or less a big MIDI file will spend a significant number of bytes of memory, although it's much easier to work with such files. Solve the problem with the lazy method, which returns an instance of the MIDI token reader class that can read a MIDI file's token instead. That's interesting. That's such a funny way of like defining it. Lazy. Just like here, damn. Oh, okay, here's the tool section. With the CSV serializer, you can either serialize objects to CSV or just serialize them back to CSV. This article explains orientation. Let's see. Modifier bytes array serialized. This is the one I wanted. Tempo map is set to change. Tempo map is a set of changes of time signature and tempo. Tempo map is one of the key objects in high-level management of MIDI data, and you need to have a tempo map to convert the time and length between different representations, either explicitly or internally, at some part of the library. Example in tools. I was already in tools. Split objects and MIDI files in many different ways. Actually, this might be the thing I need. Object splitting, MIDI file splitting. Let's go. You can split a MIDI file in different ways using the extension methods from the splitter class. Split by channel. I don't want to split by channel. Split by object. File process adjust. By objects, for example. We have channels and notes, and a number of notes, time level. Or you can alter key correlations by split by grid, split notes. The notes indicates whether notes should be split. Oh, one splitter. This might be it. But objects by step. Oh shit. Go back. Method split each object by the specified step starting at the start of an object. For example, if step is 1 second, an object will be split at 1 second from its start, at 1 second from the previous point of splitting, 2 seconds from the object start, at 1 second of the splitting, 3 seconds. Image below illustrates that. This might be what I want. I think. Yeah, okay, so if this is the chord represent. No, that's not my. Not this. Fuck, do I want it by chord? Or no? Shit. I think I might want it by chord. Parts by number. Oh, this is the chord. Split objects by parts. No. Split objects by grid. There's also not what I want. Split objects at distance doesn't look like what I want. think I might actually just want the notes. I think I've come full circle. I think, like, judging by these judging solely by the diagram, and I could just be completely missing point, but it seems like a chord represents there's an arbitrary block that exists, which represents an entire chord, but the chord isn't necessarily a note that is being hit at the same time. It's just a collection of notes in a particular block of whatever arbitrary logic is being used here. That's not what I want. I want each of the individual notes when they are being pressed at any at the given point in time. And so I think I need the notes. This is an object. But I don't want an object. I need to take a very, very fast bathroom break. I will be right back. Alright, let's experiment a little bit. And simply let's experiment just a little bit more and so with this JavaScript. So from what I know, which isn't a lot, I can get the notes from the MIDI file. I'm just gonna completely ignore chords for now and just pretend it doesn't exist. I can, and this is all happening in void start. I don't see an update, so I will just do a fixed update real quick and promote this to a private variable so that I can simply cache this side of this. Okay. And from what I also know is that I can get a tempo map. By simply getting the MIDI file and then doing get tempo map. Which is awesome. I can take. Now, there's something that I was looking at, but I'm not entirely sure what is even happening with this example that I found on Stack Overflow. Looked like they just take note.time as, I guess it has to be like them just iterating through. Notes.0. I'm a moron. Jesus Christ. I can't even though it's a collection. Iterated through like that. Okay. Can I, for each? I can. Yay. Alright. So for each note, they do something like this. They take this thing called the metric time span, and each note, which is now a note, and I take time as a metric time span, and I pass in tempo map. Right. So this gets time of a iTimed object as an instance of type that implements the iTime interface. Time of the specified object as an instance of metric time span. Alright. Represents metric time span, which represents hours, minutes, seconds, and seconds. Okay. Huh, that's interesting. And then there's also metric length. No, there's also a metric time span. This is another metric length, which is just equal to note dot length as a metric time span following tempo map. This is the exact same thing. This feels both unnecessary. Wait. Wait, hold on. So the question is, is this giving me the start time? So this gives me the start time, and this gives me the length on which how long the note is being played. I think. Which is interesting. Hold on. So I have all of this information. Actually, first of all, let's just see what this even reads as. let's just like let's check. I think it should still be playing Pokemon. All right. This is giving me the note B5. Oh, wow, that's interesting. Note name, note. It's just so much. Wait, it already gives me length, which is 24. But it returns to me as a metric length. Yeah, if note already has... There's a velocity and it has length, which is the end time. So it starts on 0 and it ends at 24, which who the fuck knows what that means. Ah. I wonder if velocity is being taken into account. Actually, no, that's a stupid question. Anyways, let's just go for it. Let's go forward one now. We're in C6, right? Which should have, it has the same length, but it has a different end time. So is my metric time span is the same. My metric length is also, wait. Hold on. Let me try this again. Let me do that. Okay, so no, the time span is different. And the length is also twice as big in this one, T6. Time is 48, the velocity is 9, 86, 48. The length is 48, which is double, which before it was 24. What is length represented as? I gotta say, hold on, let's... Actually, let me see. Length, note name, note number, octave 6. Oh wow, it just separates the octave. That's so helpful. Actually, hold on. Surely note just tells me this stuff, right? Default velocity, what I don't need. Nope, it's just length. Okay. These notes. Okay, so there's an article on time and there is an article on time and length. Okay, let's see. All times and length. All times and length in MIDI are presented as some long values in units defined by the time division of the MIDI file. In practice, it's much more convenient to operate by human understandable representation like seconds or bars/beats. In fact, there is no difference between time and length, since time within a MIDI file is just a length that always starts at 0. So the time span term will be used to describe both time and length. Or as follows: measure time for time span in terms of microseconds, bar beat tick time span for the time span in terms of number of bars, beats, and ticks, bar beat fraction time span for time span in terms of numbers of bars and fractional beats, musical time span in terms of fractional and whole length notes. Yeah, that's actually what I wanted. MIDI time. Well, I can. So it's telling me that I can convert this into literally whatever I want, which is interesting. But now I'm worried because I don't want to, like, I was gonna put this in update, but now I think about it, like I kind of like want an event that tells me when this note is being played, so that as soon as it's being played, I can fire off a function. But I also like, but I also need the other information so that the simulation of the actual marble itself will like have some information to smoothly bounce between each of the different things in a specific time span, and then I can use that function slash event to, if that thing is called and I'm not already there, just snap it there. Just like whatever happened, I don't care. Make it so that this thing will land here when I say it land here. Which there has to be functionality to accomplish that. And if it isn't, then I'll figure it out. But let's I'll test it if those are iTest interface, which is clever. Convert time span between different representations. You should use time converter or a length converter. Classes. These require a tempo map. Yep, I already figured that out. Use length converter for time conversions. Here, but with time converter, you don't need to specify time spans. Examples of time conversion. Converts ticks to metric time. Converts ticks to music time. Yeah, okay. So I already know how to do all this. Examples of length conversions, which is the same. You could notice that length converter methods have the time parameter in general. A MIDI file has changes of tempo and time signature. Thus, the same long value can represent different numbers of seconds. For example, depending on the time of an object with the length of this x value, the methods above can take time either as long or as I time spent. So I should probably be using length for any. So it seems like I should be using length for calculation as opposed to time, because a whole note in a faster tempo is not the same as a whole note in a slower tempo. Obviously, I've played music. I know that. But we're okay. So we're figuring some stuff. We're getting somewhere after an hour of literally nothing. You can notice that length converter. Yeah. There are some useful methods in Object Utilities class. The class contains extension methods for types implemented. For example, you can get the time of a timed event in hours, minutes, seconds with time as. I don't need that though. That's. Or you could find all notes of a MIDI file that start at the time of 10 bars and 4 beats. Tempo map, MIDI file, get tempo map, variable notes, MIDI file, get notes at time, new bar, beats. Also, there is the length object utilities. This class contains extension methods for types that implement length object interface, notes, and chords, for example. This is these time limits. Why do I want to get this? Mm-hmm. So my current problem is, well, not really my problem, but the thing that I'm struggling with. So I have a metric to get the length and the time span of a note, and I even have the information of when the note is going to start and stop in the particulars of the playback of this event. The thing that I don't have is the specific instance in which I can feasibly say that a note is playing at this particular. I know a note was going to play at a specific time, but I don't have the ability to be able to consistently at least as far as I know, I don't have the ability to consistently call an event when that happens. And that is what I'm currently trying to parse. I need to dig deeper. Let's go into the node class real quick. Let's... I know there's a node off event that exists. What is this? Much shorter than the current document. At least I thought there was. There's a note on. Timed event. A node off event is a type of node event, which is a type of channel event, which is a type of MIDI event, which is just this. Okay. So I'm actually wait. No, but timed event as an event, which is a type of MIDI event. Okay. But how do I subscribe to a fucking MIDI event? I don't want to clone the event. I just want to know when it goes off. Yeah. do this. What am I doing? Nope, it's just something specific to the playback event. Okay. I think unless I'm dumb and there's a very simple way, I think it's looking like I'm gonna have to make my own playback clock, which shouldn't be horrible, I think, in theory. I mean, how hard could it be? But that's like it. That's like my last room. It's looking like I'm gonna have to make my own playback class and keep track of my own MIDI clock, and basically do what the playback class is doing, except not playing anything, which sounds counterintuitive. Yeah, this class is locked. I'm gonna have to make my own playback class. Potentially. But I'm hoping it won't come to that. I don't think it'll come. But I don't know. I think I need more. I think I need to research this more than I already have. But in the vein of that, I think let's just leave it at that for now. And I think I'm going to push what I have and holy shit. I also need to fix my Git. My Git is fucked. I did not do this right. Let's see what I have for now, and let's do a small push. Small push of 300 files because I'm a moron. Actually, no, 300 makes more sense because I added. No, it doesn't. Project. But yeah, with that out of the way, I think I'm going to end my stream here. There's a lot of things I need to research before I can even get this ground running. I need to know a lot more about this API, a lot more about MIDI in general, and what I can and can't do with it. And I think I'm gonna do a little bit of that, a lot of that off stream, so that when I stream next, I can just get the ground running on just like actually putting a dent into this project. But to be fair, these first two streams are mostly just to see if I could get a decent stream quality up, as well as make what I want a reality, which I think it's kind of coming together. I think the quality is a little bit higher than it was before. I'm still messing around with the settings and whatnot. I'm still messing around with the settings a lot, but I think I'm getting where I need to get it to. Probably a few more things I need to tweak and change. I also need to get a better like audio like adjustment system going. But as multi-streaming goes, I think this looks fine. Looked fine enough. And probably next time I do a lot more deving and a lot less staring at documentation. But to be fair, that is most of programming and game development anyway, so that is the point of doing these types of streams. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end it off right. I need to get some food in me, and I also need to do a lot looking stuff up. So later stream.